PBC to you. I'm Coach Jay, and we're going to do something a little different this week. We're going to start a series called Old School Tips. And this week with Old School Tips, we're going to teach you how to make your boxing a little bit more defensively responsible. All right, so we're starting a new series on PBC on our YouTube channel called Old School Tips. These are just short videos, give you a couple of tips here and there, things that coaches very often say. I'm sure you've heard it a million times as well, but we're going to kind of break down some of these old school rules. Today what we're going to show you is there's a very common old school rule. When you throw a rear hand or when you miss a punch, what do? I find that a lot of people will get in the pocket, they'll throw a right, boom, they throw a right, and by the time you've thrown your right, all of your weight is forward so that you can get a good punch. You still have to transition back to your neutral position in order to be safe. You're vulnerable for that amount of time. So just anytime you throw a right cross, uppercut, hook, whatever you throw it, you got to move your head afterwards. You must. That brings you from being vulnerable defensively back to your starting position so that you're no longer vulnerable. You're taking care of your vulnerable spots. Along with that, if you miss your opponent, he goes under, he ducks, what do? You have to move your head. As soon as you miss, your weight is in a position where you've got to bring that hand back. Anytime somebody takes a swing at you, what do you want to do? You want to get those points back, right? Well, so does he. You take a shot and miss, he's pretty pleased with himself. Make him miss. The next part of that sentence is make him pay. You have to make sure that he's not going to make you pay by being defensively responsible, which means having as few spots in your boxing as possible that aren't defensively responsible, that aren't vulnerable. So if you throw a 2 and you just bring it straight back, you've got this spot here that's vulnerable. If you miss completely while you're bringing it back, you're vulnerable. You miss completely, he's about ready to throw over the top of your hook. You got to go under. So it sounds like a super easy thing to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a couple of our boxers and I'm going to narrate what they're doing so that you can see what's going on. All right, to help us demonstrate the old school tip for this week, we've got 2 of our top boxers. Here is Andrew the Golden Boy Burgoyne. He's a 3-time light welterweight champion for Ontario. And here is Kaylin Hard Ticket May. So what we're going to do first is we're going to throw some punches and you're going to finish on your rear hand and then show them how you can be defensively responsible afterwards. Go ahead. So he's going to throw his 1-2. Yeah, Kaylin, counter punch. Yeah. Perfect. So as well, not just defend after you throw your right hand, but also defend and move. That goes beyond the tip, but this is my take on this tip. So let's show that there, Andrew. Good. Defend and take an angle. Defend and move out. Perfect. All right, now we're going to do the other side. Kaylin's going to show us what to do when you miss. Always defend right after your miss. It can be a slip, but it should be a weave or get out. And you'll see Kaylin's moving at the same time. He's dodging and moving, so that takes him out. Perfect. All right. So these are 2 pretty simple tips. I'm going to hand the camera back to them, and they're going to tape me for my final remarks. See you in a second. All right, so that's been our episode this week of Old School Tips. Remember, when you throw your right or your rear hand, if you're southpaw, you throw your rear hand as the last hand in your combination. Defend, pivot, defend, move out. Whatever you have to do, but just defend and move. After you miss, defend and move. Remember that. Defend and move. Throw, defend and move. All right, I hope that helps.